The path to success always begins with a white dot in a black space, a very small dot. You may never know that it could change your life for the better, but this situation can only happen with absolute belief in one's abilities. From this faith and this point, we also set out to tell you the best success stories on the Hit Point program, so stay with us.
First name is Imad, I-M-A-D. Last name is Enchassi, E-N-C-H-A-S-S-I. I am the senior imam at the Islamic Society of Greater Oklahoma City and also chair of Islamic Studies at Oklahoma City University. Oklahoma chose me. I chose Oklahoma City. Actually, my company, when I used to work for a restaurant company, the headquarters was in Lubbock, Texas. And then when I graduated from Texas Tech University with a degree in management, they recruited me and they asked me to move to Oklahoma City. I came to Oklahoma City back in 1980s. Wonderful city, slow traffic back in the 80s. A city that is yet to be discovered, and it flourished since then. My career in Oklahoma City started in the restaurant business, actually, in management and human resources. And while I was working in management and human resources in the restaurant business, I was still, I graduated with a bachelor degree and I moved to Oklahoma City. I still pursued my master's degree, taking night classes, 1 night classes a week, 2 night classes a week. And then I eventually ended up with a PhD in human resources. My discipline is mostly human resources, and I wanted to teach human resources in the university. That was my goal. That was my dream, is to be a professor. However, with family, this went into the back burner, so to speak, until 9/11, where I started preaching at the mosque because we had no imam. And then I was asked to become the imam. In order to become an imam, you have to be a learned person. You have to be, so I took that opportunity to go overseas. So I went overseas for almost 8 years and earned a second bachelor, a second master's, and a second PhD in Islamic studies. The language, I spoke English. Well, my native tongue is Arabic. However, in Lebanon, as a Palestinian refugee, we were required to learn English. So I came to the United States of America with English with a heavy accent. It's not like I don't have an accent now, but I came pretty much with an understanding of the English language. Of course, I have to go to ELS, English Language Institute, to pass certain levels in order to get in college. But it was rather easy for me because I learned English at an early age and also learned proper British English. So I have to change my language from proper British English to Okie English, so to speak, in order to for people to understand what I'm talking. The language was naturally came in the sense that you work every single day with different people. You try to understand the slang of the language. You try to understand the idioms of the language. I remember one time somebody told me that one of our coworker, his name was Bob. He said, "Bob, kick the bucket," and I said, "Kick the bucket." In proper English, "kick the bucket" means that he kicked the bucket. And I said, "Okay, is he hurt?" He said, "No, it means he died." And I was going like, "Oh, okay, that means he died." So, well, definitely for any American Muslim, if you ask him what is your a turning point in your life, they will say 9/11. 9/11 was profoundly struck me in the heart. I just moved close to this campus, just built my brand new home, successful business. And then the weekend I moved to my brand new house, not even have a cable connection to my house yet. I was watching the news via satellite, and I see 9/11. I thought it was a fiction movie. I didn't realize it was the news until my phone started ringing and ringing and ringing. And at that moment, I realized that my faith was hijacked. And all of a sudden, this urges, or this became a complete mission in my life to become an imam. Becoming an imam is not the most prestigious thing in the world. It's not the most lucrative thing in the world. They don't pay much. But it was a mission for me. I grew up in Lebanon in a war-torn zones, civil war between Muslims and Christians. But also I grew up in Christian schools. Ittihad al-Kana'is, or Religion United or Churches United, was a charity that took care of me. They ran orphanage in Lebanon. I grew up in this orphanage. My best memory is the memory of Miss Rahma. Miss Rahma was a Christian nun that took care of us. She used to buy me sugar candy. I sat in her lap. And fast forward that, when I was 17 years old in the year of 1982, my camp was attacked by those who claimed to be Christians. They called themselves the Christian Phalangists, and 1,800 people of my friends, my family, were murdered were massacred over a period of 3 days. I was there. I witnessed the entire Lebanese civil war, but I was there. I was in the refugee camp, and God meant for me to survive. Surviving that massacre actually brought a totally different perspective to me, because I could hear the perpetrators who came into my refugee camps invoking Jesus and Mary's name as they killed 1,800 people. And the only Jesus and Mary that I know is the one who fed me, clothed me, and took care of me and gave me sugar candy, in the persona of Miss Rahma, that Christian nun. So also the perpetrator actually dipped their brushes in their victims' blood and draw blood crosses on my refugee walls. And the people who rescued me were also the Red Cross. So I could not fathom the two Jesuses, so to speak. I went to Mass that Friday, and the sermon was very, very was just happened, rightfully so to speak. But I could not fathom the hateful rhetoric against Christians and Jews in that particular setting. I made a run to America after that, and I decided that we want to work with the interfaith community, and we did. We've been working with the interfaith community for 25 years. To be quite honest with you, I've been involved in many Muslim organizations. Most of them are named Mercy. So we have Mercy School, we have Mercy Mosque, we have Mercy Cemetery, we have Mercy Food Pantry, Mercy Clinic. All these are free services for the community. And the reason all these organizations bear the name Mercy, because the word Rahma, which is the Christian nun who took care of me, literally means mercy in English. So yes, the Muslim community work very close with the government. We have 1,009 refugees. There were 1,000 when they first came here, so there's 9 new Oki's children of refugees who were born here. We work very closely with the government in a sense that we work with Catholic Charities, the Sparrow Project, and different organizations that are helping resettle the refugees. From welcoming kits to we're just raising money now for winter clothing. A lot of those people came without coats. But we really work closely with the government. We provided interpreters. The people who came from Afghanistan speak predominantly Pashto, Dari, and Farsi. Those are 3 languages, so we provided people that would translate. As Muslim grew in the state of Oklahoma, we realized that we were losing a lot of families. A lot of families in Oklahoma were moving to Dallas and bigger metro areas simply because their family has grown and they're needing schooling for their children, Islamic schooling for their children. In Oklahoma City, and in any city around the United States of America, you would see the infrastructure. The Muslim infrastructure starts with a very small mosque, and then this mosque will grow just a little bit. And as the need arises, so the first thing the Muslims would do is build a mosque, bring the people together. Second thing, Muslims are dying. We need cemeteries, so we'll establish a cemetery. Third things, the children are growing. So all these comes from growing pains. All these ideas comes from growing pains. Children are growing. They're going to public school. They're losing their identity, and so on and so forth. So you see all these needs, and you try to bring the community together in a sincere way to build those institutions. So first and foremost, you build the spiritual institution, that's the mosque. You try to teach kids in the mosque. You try to establish regular prayers and everything to propagate the faith to your own co-religionists, so to speak. But then you need the professional institution to take care of the children. You need, so that's where Mercy School came about. Anyone trying to succeed in any field should look at that field as a mission and not as a job. Anybody who looks at whatever they're doing as a job, a job, anybody could get a job, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, paycheck comes at the end of the month, you succeed, you buy a house, you get married and so on. This is not, in my opinion, success. In my opinion, success is when you love what you do. And the way you love what you do is you actually try to do this for a higher power. In people of faith, in a sense, if you're a person of faith, you're trying to do that to please God.